This episode kickstarts Lars' character development, considering that in the last episode, Taika Palantafist, it was literally the last time where he was actually comedic, and when it came to this episode, there's gonna be huge turning points for not only for his character, but nearly every single character. Lars, Sadie, and Steven get invited by Buck, who are having a potluck at Sour Cream's place, which they need to bring food, which Lars is really concerned, considering that he gave a dessert to Steven that he actually enjoyed, but unfortunately, when it comes to other people who do bakery stuff, he found bakery not something that cool kids do. Despite trying to come up with a dessert to bring to the potluck, he makes an obey that Steven and Sadie ate and they really enjoyed it. But at the same time, his statement on making desserts just isn't what cool guys do from his perspective. Mainly the fact that in comparison to Steven in the Cool Kids episode, while it centers around them just doing stuff that they're not supposed to, this is just mainly Lars just not opening up to things that he just isn't adjusted to. Because to tell you the truth, in comparison to Steven, who Lars himself stated that how he's mature and it describes how Steven went through so much, it gave him the confidence to actually go to the potluck. This episode really describes Lars' situation when it comes to his ordinary life, and when it comes to me saying ordinary is the fact that he wasn't able to open up completely when it comes to baking stuff that he found the total opposite of core, all the while that he can't be able to open up completely when he tries to make things right for himself. Because to tell you the truth, the amount of times I've seen Lars in this position in previous episodes, he wasn't able to take control of the situation that he's in, and when it comes to this episode, he is trying to take control of the situation, and he has the opportunity at hand, but at the same time, he can't be able to open up his feelings. Even though that from time to time he hangs out with the cool kids, at the very least, he's not like them, considering that they have their own talents that stand out differently from each other. Even though that I may make an argument that Lars would have done a lot more if he actually had character development way early on, but considering that he had the most character development when it comes to the Beach City citizens, with Sadie being in second place, which she did have some development later on in this episode, they are really trying to set up the whole Lars being in outer space when it came to the events of the Season 5 premiere. The only difference is that we don't get a lot of screen time, nor information centered around how Lars ended up becoming a space pirate or a space warrior of some sort, and every time I think of that, all I can think of is that Connie shouldn't took lying away from Steven. I'm sorry, but that still bugs me even to this day. Here's the thing, this episode was the kickstart, like I've mentioned earlier, and there was gonna be a lot more potential when it comes to how Lars would have been developed without being at Beach City for so long. But the more I think about it, it really feels like that this episode, when it came to the aftermath in Season 5, it's just really unbelievable to think that we reached to a point where this whole problems of Steven Long perspective and other elements had been taken into full gear. And believe me, judging of how that I didn't mention the hiatuses when it comes to this show that we're airing during its run, I will admit that this hiatus between after the 4 episodes of Season 5 up until the return of Season 5 was really a boiling point on how people wanted more from Lars in outer space, and not involving Connie lying away from Steven. Like, you can tell that Lars have not come to the party due to his own situation, but at the same time, it wasn't really the case upon watching the following episode. That's how much I really appreciate this type of development, and while the season 5 episodes, mainly the first 4, were mainly something that gave me more appreciation towards Lars' character, at the same time, it's still not satisfying that it's not enough. We really wanted more development involving these characters. And judging of how Sadie is gonna have her own episodes in season 5, I really got the impression that they really wanted this whole relationship between Lars and Sadie to have some kind of conclusion rather than happening at Change Your Mind. What really affects this episode, for me personally, is the fact that the production of season 5 really changed a lot of perspectives of people's opinions towards this show. Obviously, I'm fully aware of people still catching up to the show during its 5th season, but believe me, these episodes, when it came to the conclusion of season 4 with the introduction of season 5, you really wanted more, since that the show is willing to tell stories when it comes to multiple characters. And since it's not willing to talk about every single character, which I'm totally fine with that, at the very least they should have had more continuation on how Lars became the way he was after the premiere of season 5. This episode would have been a lot more if season 5 had the development it needs and more screen time centering around Lars. In fact, I will admit that this is one of the biggest problems that I have with Steven Universe, to the point that sometimes you really need to scrap the current ideas in order to make other ideas work out. Because as far as I'm concerned, my critique centering around the carnival situation in season 5 is still active, and when it came to this type of development, I would prefer Lars' development over the separation between Steven and Connie from season 5. For me personally, I can't be able to have different opinions when all I'm thinking of is Connie not remembering the lessons that she took, mainly from the new Crystal Gems episodes, and the fact that she just can't be able to think of what's really serious when it comes to Steven still being Rose, just being turned into a human. But since we're heading into the finale of season 4 and heading straight into season 5, believe me, things are about to get crazy from here on out, with season 5 having more episodes to review in comparison to this season. I'm giving this episode a 6 out of 10.